Welcome everyone to this most exciting event, the first ever virtual QWF Awards Gala and After Party. A small but dedicated team has been working hard behind the scenes to bring this celebration to fruition. I hope you're going to enjoy it as much as we want you to. What a year it's been. Sure, it's been challenging, but the staff, mentors, and workshop leaders were all able to pivot to the online world with almost no glitches. Even those who claim to be Luddites took up the challenge with gusto so that they could continue to offer their guidance and expertise, in many cases without missing a beat. And I'm really proud of the board of directors for the leadership they've shown in dealing with this situation nobody could have anticipated. The Emergency COVID Relief Fund and the Pay What You Can memberships, both of which we've extended to the end of the year, demonstrate their concern for our members. If we were meeting in person tonight, I'd ask you now to give them a warm round of applause. Marianne and I miss being in the office, where members sometimes drop in to pay their membership fee, ask for advice, or just say hi. The 2 virtual schmooze events we held in the summer were pretty great though, and that's why I'm hoping you'll check out our Zoom after party as soon as this event is over. If mingling with some old friends and meeting some new ones sounds good to you, just head over to qwf.org as soon as this event ends and follow the instructions there for how to join the party. I want to take a moment to acknowledge our wonderful prize sponsors, John Blatchford, the Cole Foundation, Concordia University, Librairie Paragraph Bookstore, and Gabriel Safdie and Infinite Theatre, as well as 3 anonymous sponsors. Without their generous support, there wouldn't be any QWF awards. One last thing I really want you to know is just how wonderful your QWF president, Christopher Dorado, is. Chris has been the driving force between everything you've seen leading up to this evening. He single-handedly wrote the communications plan and the scripts and all of the announcements, from press releases to tweets. And he's a dream to work with, smart, dedicated, compassionate, and calm. Everything you'd want in a leader. Now that I've thoroughly embarrassed him, here's Chris.
Thanks, Laurie. You're going to make me blush. Hello, everyone. Bonsoir tout le monde. Bienvenue. Welcome to what will be a very different, if not extremely memorable, QWF Literary Awards ceremony. Hopefully this time next year, we look back at tonight with wonder as we once again gather at Le Lion d'Or to celebrate the accomplishments of our community. I know it's not the same as all being together in the same room, but I'm very proud of the ways in which our QWF board and Gala committee members mobilized to make tonight happen. So a big thank you goes out to Deb Vanslet, Rachel McCrum, Lila Marshy, Audrey Mubis, Laurie Schubert, and tonight's host Dina Smith for making everything possible. I hope that wherever you are tonight that you are warm and comfortable. Perhaps you're enjoying a nice meal on your kitchen island, or maybe you're nestled up in bed with your laptop, or like me, on your couch with a nice glass of whiskey waiting to find out tonight's winners. However you're enjoying tonight's event, we want to know. We've started a thing called the QWF Red Carpet. What we want you to do is take a picture that shows us how you're watching tonight's event and share it on social media. Share it on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter using the hashtag QWFGala2020. That's QWFGala 2020. One lucky participant will receive copies of all of tonight's award-winning books. We also want you to interact with one another. I mean, that was the great thing about the gala. You could talk to each other in the room. Well, you can talk to each other online too. So please share your thoughts in the comments section on our YouTube channel, or share your thoughts on Facebook or Twitter using the hashtag QWFGala2020. Interact with one another. Share your thoughts on the books, the finalists, the winners. Let us know what you think of tonight's gala. As Laurie mentioned, there will also be an after party on Zoom in order to kind of keep the party going. I'll be there. I hope that you're going to be there too. I look forward to hearing all about your year. Something missing from this year's gala will be the acceptance speeches. Unfortunately, we're not the Emmys, and it would have been technically too difficult to have all of our 25 finalists on standby in the event that they won. Instead, we decided to do something different. We asked each of our finalists to provide us with a short video of them reading from their work. And we've received all 25 videos, and what we'll do is we will insert the winning video into tonight's broadcast. Also, In the days coming up, we will be approaching each of them to schedule online interviews in which we'll give them a chance to talk to you about their work and also say a couple of thank yous to those that they would have thanked otherwise. Before we begin, though, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the passing of one of this year's jurors, Richard Vaughan. I know that many of you knew and loved Richard like I did. He was a great friend, a wonderful poet, playwright, and essayist. He had a great wit, he was charming, a wonderful friend, and he will be deeply missed. So on behalf of the Quebec Writers Federation, I want to thank Richard, and I want to offer our deepest condolences to his friends and family. We're going to miss you, Richard. Tonight's a celebration. It's a celebration of writers, of readers, of books, of our community. So I think it's time we get to it. Allow me to introduce the host of tonight's event, Dina Smith. Dina Smith is a Montreal-based poet, performer, and educator. Her work is rooted in her experience as a fifth-generation Canadian and bilingual Bajan daughter of the African diaspora on Turtle Island. Dina's poetry has been published in Montreal Sarai magazine and the Great Black North Contemporary African Canadian Poetry. She writes children's books and facilitates creative writing and anti-racism workshops. And as is the case for many, in the last 8 months, she has added making really good sourdough bread to her list of skills. Over to you, Dina.
Thank you, Chris. Hello, everyone. My name is Dina, and I am so happy to be hosting the 2020 QWF Literary Awards. Thank you so much for being with us. As Chris said, if you have pictures that you'd like to share with us for our red carpet, whether or not you dressed up for the occasion, please do so. We would love to see your familiar or maybe unfamiliar faces. We could all use that so much right now. It's been a strange year, strange to say the least. But in spite of the closure of venues, the cancellation of festivals, and the disruption in all areas of the arts, some things have managed to continue. We are very fortunate that through the hard work of the QWF team, we're able to be here tonight to celebrate words. Those peculiar puffs of air, codified, syllabized, prototyped, and ultimately printed, organized and reorganized into everything we can imagine or experience. It isn't just because of my background in the slam world that I feel that spoken words come first. I'm a linguist, so I know that whether to us or through us, whether signed or said, words are how language generally takes shape in our head. But once we agree on the design of a letter E or that the curve of an R should only go so far, that's when some other magic can begin. Many people would have a hard time denying that the arts have sustained them through this pandemic. Some of us read, some of us wrote, some of us did both and more. Creativity of our own and that of others helped us keep going. So whether we sipped them chilled, 17 cool syllables at a time, or feast on them by the hundreds of steaming thousands, it is a good thing to celebrate words and all of the ways that they are organized. It is a good thing to celebrate the creators of those words. They have served us mightily, and we are grateful. So thank you to the wordsmiths. We have been well fed, and we are still hungry for more. Without further ado or shenanigans, on with this year's prizes. Our first award of the evening is the 3 Max Carte Blanche Prize. It is awarded in recognition of an outstanding submission by a Quebec writer to Carte Blanche, QWF's online literary journal. Writers receive a cash prize and a unique trophy called the Laurie, created by Montreal Ironworks artist Glenn Lemesurier. To present this year's finalists and winners, here is Greg Santos, the editor of Carte Blanche.
Good evening. I am representing Carte Blanche and would like to thank the editors on our masthead for their help narrowing down our finalists. This year, our managing editor, Zoe Shaw, and I have had the honor of selecting 3 finalists to determine the winner of the 3 Max Carte Blanche Prize for an outstanding submission by a Quebec writer published in 2020. The 3rd place finalist will receive $150, the 2nd place finalist will receive $200, and the winner will receive a cash prize of $350. In 3rd place is Tong Wang for Emote, a Time Capsule from issue 39, excerpts from a larger mixed media piece. We enter a world of photography and text that depicts a character who struggles to find her place in an industry of commercialized emotions. In second place is Kelly Nora Drucker for Thin from issue 39. This nonfiction piece transports us to another time and place, highlighting the simultaneous magic and familiarity of ruins on an Irish cliffside. In first place, we are pleased to announce that the winner of the 2020 3 Max Carte Blanche prize is Alexi Perry Cox for It's a Slow Ride from issue 39. Alexi Perry Cox's winning poem takes us on a meditative, sensual, and moving train ride into her speaker's memories. Here, the poem's arresting form causes us, the reader, to pause as the speaker does at various station stops, to reflect on anxiety, the passage of time, and hope towards the future. Congratulations to the finalists, Tong Wang, Kelly Nora Drucker, and winner Alexi Perry Cox. Enjoy the rest of the 2020 QWF Awards Gala. Cheers!
Thank you, Greg. Our next prize is the QWF Judy Mappin Community Award. This award is bestowed upon a remarkable person who is committed to the flourishing of the English language literary community of Quebec, and whose personal contributions and ethics exemplify those espoused by Judy Mappin, a longtime patron and supporter of the Canadian literary arts until her death in 2014. To introduce this year's winner, please welcome back QWF President Christopher Dorado.
Thank you, Dina. It is my immense pleasure to announce that this year's winner of the QWF Judy Mappin Community Award is none other than Jan Jorgensen, organizer of the long-standing reading series, The Lawn Chair Soiree. Congratulations, Jan. Now, I know that many of you know Jan, and many of you have also read her series before, but perhaps you don't know all about her accomplishments, given that she's so incredibly humble. A creative writing graduate from Bard College in New York, Jan first began her work in Montreal as an ordained minister and spiritual director. Her ministrations would take on a literary flavor in 2006 when she launched the Lawn Chair Soiree for new and established writers. Its name comes from its first location, a shop on Park Avenue where attendees were required to bring their own chairs. It has moved to 3 other locations in the 13 years since it was inaugurated, but the name has stuck. Now, most of Jan's events in her long career have had a fundraising element attached to them. These events range from a spoken word marathon to benefit earthquake victims in Indonesia, to the book fair, Read Globally, Buy Locally, which showcased 32 authors and raised money for the QWF's Writers in the Community program. In 2018, Jan organized Recreating Home, a fundraising event and chapbook launch to support a Syrian family being sponsored by Montreal's Christ Church Cathedral. And earlier this year, she held a special lawn chair soiree to help support Muslim Awareness Week. So, for her hard work, her leadership, and long-standing personal commitment to community in all of its forms, and for her tireless championing of English language authors in Quebec, the QWF is delighted to bestow the 2020 Judy Mappin Community Award upon Jan Jorgensen. Congratulations, Jan.
My sincere thanks to those who nominated me for the Judy Mappin Community Award, as well as to those who made the final decision. I'm very touched by your generosity. For my friends who from the first supported the idea of the Lawn Chair Soiree, for those who have attended our soirees as audience invited guests and open mic performers, for everyone who has ever become involved in any or all of our fundraising events, for your compassion and your collaboration, advertising, selling and buying tickets, making food, donating raffle prizes, books and money, being an MC or a judge, sharing your words and your time, and for Ted and all his wonderful support. I receive this award in trust for you all. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jan. Since 1988, the QWF Literary Awards have celebrated the best work published by English language writers and translators in Quebec, as well as those translating English works from Quebec into French. Since 2018, we also award a biannual prize for the best English language play published or produced during the previous 2 years. Each of these 7 major awards comes with a purse of $3,000, as well as a special trophy designed by the sculptor Colin Schlee. These spectacular trophies are made of all natural materials, including, appropriately enough for writers, paper and coffee. The first of our 7 prizes is the Concordia University First Book Prize. QWF is proud to have its First Book Prize sponsored by Concordia University, which offers the only BA and MA English language creative writing programs in Quebec. The prize is awarded to a debut work of fiction, nonfiction, or poetry written by an English language writer in Quebec. The 3 finalists in this category are Kamala Mackerel for Zum Femme, published by Metonymy Press, Madeleine Caritas Longman for The Danger Model, published by McGill, Queen's University Press, and Yusuf Saadi for Pluviophile, published by Nightwood Editions. The jury was composed of writers Hassan Namir and Naomi Steinberg, both of Vancouver, and R.M. Vaughn of Montreal. And the winner is Madeleine Caritas Longman for The Danger Model, published by McGill Queen's University Press. Congratulations, Madeleine, and here she is reading a brief excerpt from her collection.
This is an excerpt from the poem Alexithymia. 1. Is there a difference between a personality and an imitation of a personality? I want to be honest, but I see the wires. There's no polite word for unbound hunger, so I leave that out, the motivation. Polish the absence into something academic, malleable, a sculpture of potential, how it collapses, how it shines. When I meet another person like me, the space between us thins and quiets, 2 mirrors reflecting an infinity of possible selves until someone moves.
To read the jury's comments, please welcome Hassan Namir.
Longman's poems are masterfully constructed. This book is a brilliant embodiment of spaces. The use of white space and the way lines of text are woven is deft and effective, catalyzing meanings and associations across brain hemispheres. This is poet's poetry, written with keen attention to inner harmonies and the seesaw of words. In an era of Instagram-driven micro-poetry, also known as like poems, all flimsy and whimsy, The Danger Model is an actual book crammed with actual poems. A vivid, fearless revisiting of beloved free verse tropes, from dense, manic prose poems to singing, call and response, otherworldly hymns. A generous book, The Danger Model hardly feels like a first book. Rather the opposite, a collected works by a senior poet. A book such as this is a reminder why I love poetry so much.
How are you all doing? Is everybody okay? I hope somebody's having popcorn. It seems like popcorn should be a part of this somehow. I can't have any, but I hope you're enjoying yours. The next award is the QWF Prize for Children's and Young Adult Literature, sponsored in memory of Janet Savage Blatchford, who was a novelist and much-loved member of the QWF board and community. This year's competition was open to picture books with text and books for beginner readers. The finalists are Matthew Forsyth for Poco and the Drum, published by Paula Weissman Books, Simon & Schuster, Canada, and Marie-Louise Gay, who was nominated for 2 books, Fern and Horn and The Three Brothers, both published by Groundwood Books. The jury was composed of writers Alan Cumming of Ottawa, Shantae Grant of Halifax, and me, Dina Smith of Montreal. And the winner is Marie-Louise Gay for The Three Brothers. Here she is reading from the winning book. Congratulations, Marie-Louise.
Every night, Finn reads a story to his brothers. The three brothers love adventure stories about animals living in dark forests on top of high mountains or deep in the jungle. When I grow up, said Finn, I want to be an explorer. I want to travel around the world to see wild animals. Me too, said Leo, the middle brother. But why wait? We could go on an expedition tomorrow. Yes, said Finn. Maybe we will see a bear or a fox or even a wolf. A wolf? Said Leo. Imagine seeing a wolf. Uli, the smallest brother, just snored. He always fell asleep before the end of the story.
Here is Alan Cummin with the jury's comments.
The Three Brothers is a tender tale of childhood, brotherhood, and the brutal effects of climate change. The book is written with deep consideration for young readers, addressing one of the most timely and terrifying conversations with compassion, caring, and with hope. The tone is lighthearted, full of adventure and wonder, but the stillness of winter is here in the drawings, as well as a sense of both loss and renewal. Every spread offers an intricate layout for the eye, and the text is pitch perfect. This book is an age-appropriate entry into a conversation that the whole world really needs to be having. More than a great picture book, it is a tool to actively engage young people in one of the most important issues of our time.
Notre prochain prix est le prix de traduction de la Fondation Cole. Cette année, le prix sera remis à un livre traduit de l'anglais vers le français. La première finaliste est Catherine Ego. Elle est nominée pour 2 titres cette année. Son première nomination est pour Noirs sous surveillance, esclavage, répression et violence d'État au Canada, publié par Mémoire d'Encrier. Il s'agit d'une traduction du Policing Black Lives, State Violence in Canada, From Slavery to the Present de Robin Maynard, publié par Fernwood Publishing. Son deuxième nomination est pour Solitude, publié par Éditions du Boréal. Il s'agit d'une traduction de Solitude de Paige Cooper, publié par Biblioasis. Le deuxième finaliste est Benoît Laflamme pour Éclipse électrique, publié par Éditions du Boréal. Il s'agit d'une traduction de The Knockoff Eclipse de Melissa Bull, publié par Anvil Press. Les membres du jury sont Charles Bender, Samuel Mercier et Chantal Ringuet de Montréal. Et notre gagnant, Benoît Laflamme pour Éclipse électrique. Félicitations Benoît, voici un extrait de son livre.
Je me suis réveillé en retard. Je me réveille presque toujours en retard. Et Ben aime ça quand on se met en cuillère. Alors je le colle et il finit par faire trop chaud sous les couvertures. Nos mains se baladent et je sors du lit tout ébouriffé sans avoir le temps de m'arranger les cheveux ni d'enlever les restes de mascara de la veille. Quand je pars, Ben est devant ses céréales, son gruau, ses noix, ses fruits, son café et son ordinateur. Quand je pars, je le jalouse pour sa journée, me réjouis du beau temps, regrette d'avoir dû me lever, me fait croire que j'arriverai à prendre le métro de 9h42 alors qu'il est 9h37 et qu'il faut 12 minutes pour me rendre de l'appartement à la station.
Pour les commentaires du jury, veuillez accueillir Chantal Ringuet.
La désarmante simplicité de la poésie du texte d'origine cache des défis formidables que le traducteur arrive à surmonter de façon magistrale. Laflamme's translation distinguishes itself not only by the fluidity of the text and the real pleasure it brings to the reader, but also by its sensitivity and careful attention to detail. Une poésie qui se donne l'air d'être presque accidentelle se glisse dans la longueur, parfois presque anxiogène, des personnages. Ces perles ne perdent rien de leur lustre alors que le traducteur trouve toujours moyen de rendre avec précision les images qu'elles portent, permettant qu'elles retrouvent le même impact, même à travers le filtre de l'adaptation.
The next award is the QWF Prize for Playwriting, sponsored by Gabrielle Safdie in conjunction with Infinite Theater. This prize is awarded to a play that was published or produced in the preceding 2 years. In addition to a prize of $3,000, Infinite Theater will celebrate the winning play with either a live reading as a part of the Next Pipeline series, or, if COVID doesn't allow for that, with a virtual discussion with the playwright event. The 4 finalists are Alexandria Haber for Alice and the World We Live In, produced by Centaur Theater. Mishka Levine for Albumin, produced by Tactics Ottawa and performed at the Arts Court Theatre. Mona Malik for Sania the Destroyer, produced by Theatre New Brunswick. And Aaron Shields for Instant, published by Playwrights Canada Press. The jury was composed of Pablo Felices Luna, director of the Manitoba Theatre for Young People in Winnipeg, theater director and dramaturge Jackie Maxwell of Toronto, and playwright, actor, and director Janet Sears, also of Toronto. And the winner is Mishka Levine for Albumin. Congratulations to Mishka. Here she is reading from her play.
Jessa. It's just there, right on the edge of my memory. I wish I could fix it on paper, a photograph, bath after bath, becoming clearer and clearer. I used to be happy. I don't remember what it feels like to be well rested. I feel tired all the time. Iron depleted. My veins lined with rust, blood protein chains rusted through. It's a cycle of 56 days. 56 days between each whole blood donation. There's a point in the cycle when I feel perfect. It lasts a few days between the fatigue of the donation and the dread of the next one.
To read the jury's comments, here is Pablo Felices Luna.
Albumin made me angry. Every choice by Mishka Levine elicited a visceral reaction in me. It was impossible to remain indifferent. And that's how I know this is a brilliant piece of writing. A beautifully curated drama about existential emptiness and the pursuit of desire. The author's skillful use of language and lyrical vocal soundscapes crafts a precarious portrait of Jessa, the protagonist, her relationship with Danielle, a former teacher, and Lucas, her lover. Levine creates a fragmented but revealing narrative that weaves back and forth in time and space, answering questions while deepening other mysteries. The style, tone, and structure of the piece perfectly unite to create a memorable and affecting piece of theater.
Our next award is the A.M. Klein Prize for Poetry, sponsored by 2 anonymous donors. The 5 finalists in this category are Wana Avasilikyoy for A-Track, published by Talon Books. Simina Banu for Pop, published by Coach House Books. Peter Dubé for The Headless Man, published by Anvil Press. Stephanie Roberts for Rushes from the River Disappointment, published by McGill Queen's University Press. And Sarah Wolfson for A Common Name for Everything, published by Green Writers Press. The jury was composed of poets Katia Grubisic of Montreal and Ben Ladisser and Hua Wen of Toronto. And the winner is Sarah Wolfson for A Common Name for Everything. Congratulations, Sarah. And here she is reading from her collection.
The propagule. The mangrove spawn, a sideways sort of seed, floats and bobs in the world where everything's an egg. Almost. As for the child who peered over a nest's edge and, present, 3 blue eggs, so real as to be candy. He didn't eat. The mangrove pod bobs and weaves until it settles rather than dives sideways on a habitable spit of sand. The propagule, a kind of roving ovary, a buoyant earthberry, in a way, If everything's an egg, everything has one. An ore that varies by territory and weather, an ur rover, a veritable apiary, almost, an ova, a reed, a doe, a ray, and forgive me, a me.
To read the jury's comments, please welcome Ben Lattiser.
Wolfson's debut collection bolts out, at once taut and roomy, leaving or making space for the reader to find or lose themselves. The poems tiptoe through careful parcels of image, weaving domestic moments, nature poetry, occasionally almost spiritual meanderings. Rapid and ruminant, sensitive and incensed, the words in Wolfson's book work together to understand the world and involve the reader in that never-ending process. Wolfson maintains a thrilling confidence in what her fixations are. This book is a place full of partings and bodies, sphagnum and stomachs, stenches, and the steam off a bovine lip. This book could have emerged from the great dirt of the earth.
The next award is the Mavis Gallant Prize for Nonfiction, sponsored by an anonymous donor. The 3 finalists in this category are Danielle Bobker for The Closet, the 18th Century Architecture of Intimacy, published by Princeton University Press. Taras Gresko for Possess the Air, Love, Heroism, and the Battle for the Soul of Mussolini's Rome, published by Biblioasis. And M. Max Hammond for The Audacity of His Enterprise, Louis Riel and the Métis Nation That Canada Never Was, 1840 to 1875, published by McGill, Queen's University Press. The jury was composed of writers Jeffrey Bachman of Rockville, Maryland, Sonia Boone of St. John's, Newfoundland, and Kate Stearns of Montreal. And the winner is Taras Gresko for Possess the Air, Love, Heroism, and the Battle for the Soul of Mussolini's Rome. Congratulations, Taras. This marks the 4th time Taras has won the Mavis Gallant Prize. Here he is, reading from his book.
On a warm autumn evening, in the 9th year of the fascist era, families that had wandered up to the Janiculum Hill were witness to a dramatic episode in the history of Rome. As the sun set on October 3rd, 1931, a dot appeared in the western sky. In the gathering twilight, it quickly resolved itself into a fuselage that sprouted crimson-tipped wings. People stopped to watch its progress, for aircraft were no longer a common sight in Rome. The fascists liked to boast that not even a swallow dared to penetrate the sky over the capital without their permission. Whoever the pilot was, he was flying silently in a controlled downwards glide. Head swiveled as the plane passed above the treetops and crossed the Tiber on what seemed like a certain collision course with the palazzo where, as the day's newspapers had announced, Il Duce and the leading members of the fascist Grand Council had gathered to work late into the night.
To read the jury's comments, here is Sonia Boone.
A factual account of Mussolini's rise and the anti-fascist Lauro de Bossi's literal fall, Possess the Air fully engaged my imagination, but also expanded my knowledge of Rome in the early days of fascism. A monumental work at almost 700 pages, it still manages to be admirably focused and fast-paced. This book has it all: political intrigue, travel, romance, passion, dreams, violence, heroism, villainy, and more. It's also a useful primer and indeed reminder, offering insight into how fascist ideology took hold and how communities, local, national, and global, responded to it. In every sense, Possess the Air was a thoroughly satisfying and thought-provoking read.
We have arrived at the final prize for the evening, and possibly the most anticipated. The Paragraph Hugh McLennan Prize for Fiction is sponsored by Paragraph Bookstore. The 4 finalists are Andre Farkas for Home Game, published by Signature Editions, Kai Kello for Dominoes at the Crossroads, published by Véhicule Presse Esplanade Books. Sean Michaels for The Wagers, published by Random House Canada. And Kelly Michelle for Butterflies, Zebras, Moonbeams, published by Palimpsest Press. The jury was composed of writers Douglas Babington of Montreal, Amanda Leduc of Hamilton, Ontario, and Peter Behrens of Brooklyn, Maine. And the winner is Kai Kello for Dominoes at the Crossroads. Congratulations, Kai. And here he is, reading from his book.
If I pick up my alto saxophone, which I rarely play anymore, it feels like a toy in my hands. It's so much smaller than the tenor. My breath fills it easily, and the action of its keys is swift. As I blow, I always picture a lush vine sprouting from the bell of the horn, tumbling to the floor, and slithering across the floor until the ground is covered in leaves. The vine climbs the walls and the ceiling, punches through glass, and covers the side of the building. And as the vine grows, I can't stop playing. Some greater force controls my fingers and keeps pushing my breath through the horn. I don't think of the notes I'm playing. I just let the process overtake me until I'm standing in a tropical forest.
To read the jury's comments, here is Douglas Babington.
12 short stories, better described as 12 diverse narrative experiments. Nubian slaves, an auction at the Ritz, and an insider's inside view of uncelebrated neighborhoods in a future history of Montreal that tangles a language-obsessed city in what else? Language. Dominoes at the Crossroads is many things all at once. A metafiction, a wistful nod to the past, a relentless turn toward the future, and an expertly crafted celebration of language in all of its shifting musicality. This is a collection that succeeds in being more than the sum of its parts, a linked galaxy of worlds that brim with sorrow and fierce, uncompromising joy. A stimulating and provocative book.
And there you have it. Big congratulations to the winners, to the finalists, and their publishers. Now would usually be the time that we would encourage you to grab a drink at the bar and schmooze with the rest of the community. But even though you can't do that in person, you can join us online. QWF will be hosting an after party immediately following this broadcast on Zoom. To find out how you can join, please visit qwf.org. We encourage you to purchase the books by this year's winners and finalists. As sponsors of this year's prizes, Paragraph has a special section on their website dedicated to the QWF Literary Awards with all titles available at a discount. Orders can be made online or over the phone. Visit paragraphbooks.com for more information. In addition to Paragraph Bookstore, we'd like to thank tonight's other sponsors once more. Their support is so important to the community. Many thanks to John Blatchford, the Cole Foundation, Concordia University, Gabrielle Safdie, and our 3 anonymous donors. You know who you are. We'd also like to thank you for joining us. And here's to seeing each other in person at next year's gala. I'm Dina Smith. Good night.